Guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris and this is the Miltech Osprey for Microsoft Flight Sim. Here we are on the runway at Honolulu, and in this video we're going to take this aeroplane and land it on the deck of a moving vessel. Yep, it's going to be pretty tricky, and I'll talk through some top tips and some issues as we go, but I'll say right off the bat this is a pre-release edition, so it might not be as up to date as yours. Certainly good enough to get things going. First off, we'll look at the setup, then we'll get airborne, and it'll be a very quick video and landing on the deck. So here we go. First things first, in my aircraft I like to put the PFD right in front of my nose. On the right hand panel I like the nav displayed, top right for the map, and then I'll put heading up to make sure my headings match on both screens. I can also scale down if I wish, but I haven't got anything planned on this map page. On the left hand side I'll set the lights. LTS, master, top strobe, bottom strobe, position lights to both, position lights to flash, landing gear to auto, CDU. To get rid of the keybind cow flap, I'll just toggle my keybind to cow flap 4, and the RPM low alert can be fixed by just upping the RPM. So let's get airborne. The takeoff type is going to be rolling, so we've got the nacelles at 60% or 60 degrees. We'll just release the brakes. I'll put the power up to 95%. And I'm not going to pitch the aircraft. I'm just going to let it fly smoothly off the runway at whatever speed it fancies. That's through 40 knots. 50 knots, 60 knots, 70, and we're up. Gear up. As we approach 100 knots, I'll put the nacelles forwards to about, I don't know, 40. I'll pitch to stay level and continue to accelerate smoothly. Up through 120 knots, I'm now going to transition the nacelles all the way to 0, so just holding down that key binding. And there we go, in airplane mode. We'll do a left turn out, VFR not above 3,000 feet, and go and find ourselves a vessel. Weather I'm using today is SoFlight Weather Preset Pro Epic Waves. I've reduced the cloud slightly, and I've reduced the wind because the Osprey does not like the strong winds, that is for sure. I can see the vessel off to the left, 10 o'clock there. We'll go fly past. This is Pearl Harbor, headquarters of the Pacific Fleet. We'll fly past the Pearl Harbor Memorial, which I think is that one. And then go to the vessel, which is here. A couple of issues we're going to face here is the fact that the vessel is going to run over a submarine, but we'll go take a look at the submarine. And also we've got some funky dynamics in terms of how the Osprey interacts with the deck of the ship. We'll talk through that when the time comes. What I'll do now is do a quick transition to show you what it looks like, and also to have a look at the submarine because it looks pretty cool. So this is a long final straight in approach. I'm at 150 knots. I'm going to put I'm going to continuously descend down towards the left hand side of the carrier. I'll put the nacelles to 30. I'll pitch to maintain a suitable rate of descent. Nacelles are set. And I'll keep the power up a little bit so we can keep around about 120 knots as we cruise in towards the ship. So that ship's going to take a left-hand turn, so I don't want to try and land on it until it's straight down the exit of the harbour, really. Here we go. So 110 knots. I'll put the nacelles back to 40. Put the gear down. Nacelles to 50, pitching up. Power on as we go through 80 knots. And then the nacelles can come all the way back. Balancing the power. So I don't sink too much. There's the deck of the ship that we're after. That worked out pretty well, actually. Maybe overshot the mark a little bit. But we'll transition back to forward flight and do another pattern, so like a downwind type approach. I'll demonstrate that in the final turn, but I just wanted to show you the carrier. Not carrier, I keep calling it carrier. In fact, if you know what type of ship that is, put it in the comments below, it'd be interesting to know. But it's plenty big enough for this Osprey, so that's what we're counting on here. Right, move forwards. The modelling on the vessel is absolutely fantastic. Thank you for the sync rate. Look at that's pretty neat. Waves are looking pretty awesome. It looks really nice. Credit to them. So that's Seafront Simulations producing the vessels. Not sure about the submarine, whether that's part of the default scenery or not, but this is also pretty cool. By the looks of it, they might need some help, because that ship is bearing down on them. What I could do is help them out. I'll park here. Are they going to come over here? Do you want to get off the vessel? No? Wow, this is pretty tricky. I want to chop his snorkel off. Nope. Ship's getting closer, mate. Alright, I'll tell you what, we'll depart, go for the Flypast and do a pattern to land then. So transition to forward flight, I'm going to put the nacelles forwards to about 75. Don't do any more than that until you get above about 40 to 50 knots. Gears coming up. 40 knots. About 65 on the nacelles. It doesn't really matter how much you do with the nacelles, as long as you don't induce a sink rate whilst you're moving the nacelles forwards, and then keep the nacelles within that green arc that you can see on the PFD. And you can see I did a little bit too much and started descending, but just pitch up to fix. To 100 knots. About 35 to 40 on the nacelles. And then up to 130, and I can put the nacelles all the way forwards. Alright, let's go find that ship again. Has it finished gobbling up the submarine, so to speak? Talking of subs, if you like the content, please like and subscribe. Help support the channel, it's always very much appreciated. Nope. It's still running down the submarine. It's just slightly surreal. Okay, non-standard pattern then. I know I wouldn't normally break across the bow of the ship, that's bad, but the reason I'm doing that is because I want to keep the ship on the right-hand side, because that's where I'm sat, primarily. I always keep the vessel to the side nearest to where I'm sitting. Now already here, because he's transitioning, he's going forward, so I'm going to transition the sails to 30 and keep this turn coming. Sails to 30, keep the final turn coming. Hour for speed, pitch for rate of descent. And there we go, that submarine has reappeared. No harm, no foul. Okay, through 110, I'm putting the nacelles to 40. Gears coming down. We keep a little bit of speed to move alongside. Now I'm going to put the nacelles back further. Have confidence to leave the power low. Now as the nacelles get towards the vertical, power up, and I'll also make sure I lower the nose in time to match the forward speed of the vessel. That worked out alright. Yes, the flight dynamics of the Osprey are a little funky. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's functional. It's fun to do. So here we go. I'm here. Hopefully the captain's going to play ball and stay relatively straight. I'm going to use the line that is in my right 9 o'clock, which I'm looking at. I'm going to move across there. I'm matching the forward flight of the aircraft. Checking the nacelles, that's 85, so nacelles are in a decent place to do the landing. But I'm hoping that when we touch down, it doesn't do any of that funky stuff where it moves me off the back of the deck. It is a very new thing to be able to do, to land on a non-carrier moving vessel. Here we go, just moving across, following the line. Keeping it steady, keeping the altitude steady. Okay, once I'm here, I'm going to transition and look at my crewmate in front. Okay, gently down, gently down. A little bit of forward motion isn't bad in this instance. We're down. Please don't roll. That was bizarre. But we're here. Let's have a look from the outside. Oh, it's got some sort of jutter going on. But let's try that one more time, shall we? I'm going to put the nacelles to 90. Ah, 89. Close enough. Bit of backstick. Release the toe brakes. Power's coming on. I want to smoothly and quickly put it up to about 96, 97. Match the speed of the boat. And move to the left-hand side. There we go, back where we started. And you can do this as many times as you like until you're confident at it. Now, at some point, once this boat leaves the harbour, it's going to accelerate, which also catches me out. I think it does. Anyway, it looks like it does. Okay, this time the nacelles are 89 rather than 86. Let's find our line that I'm going to follow. Now, these techniques aren't real world. Of course, they're going to vary. It's just what I found has worked for me. But feel free in the comments below, just let us know what works for you. It's always good to learn new techniques. Okay, this time I'm not going to land with any forward motion. The reason I landed with forward motion is to try and offset some of the issues with landing on a moving vessel in Microsoft Flight Sim. Let's watch him. Go on, gently down, gently down, gently down. Brakes are on. Oh, come on. Well, fair enough. That was just one of those issues with the flight sim. But actually, the aircraft stayed level, and here we are on the deck. So, success.